From the earliest moments of conscious thought, humanity has been haunted by a single persistent question: who am I? This is not merely a philosophical musing to be confined within academic halls or smoky lecture rooms. It is a cry that rises from the soul in solitude, a whisper echoing in the silence of sleepless nights, a scream in the heart of the wounded soldier on the battlefield. It is the sigh of the poet as he gazes out into the void between stars, the murmur of a child staring at the sea for the first time. This question has no boundary. It belongs to all of us. And as this question deepens, unmoored from religion, tradition, or social order, we eventually arrive at a dark and chilling awareness: nihilism. A philosophy, yes, but also a terrifying emotion. Nihilism tells us that when we remove all structures of meaning, when we strip away religion, morality, ethics, duty, and even language, what remains is silence. A deep, wordless, and infinite silence. What remains is meaninglessness. Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher often cloaked in shadows, felt this silence intensely. For him, life was not a journey toward joy, but a long struggle with endless desires. Desire, he believed, is the root of all suffering. Every time we fulfill a wish, another arises, hungrier, sharper, more urgent. And so we live not in peace but in pursuit, not in contentment but in craving. Schopenhauer once wrote, "Life is a constant pain, a tale of suffering." There is no sentimentality in his words, no poetic exaggeration, only the cold realization of a restless mind confronting the truth of existence. For him, happiness was a brief interruption between two miseries, and yet, perhaps, in his darkness, he was closer to the raw truth than those who dressed life up in comforting illusions. This bleak vision of existence is echoed, perhaps even deepened, by Franz Kafka. In his novel, The Trial, we meet Joseph K., a seemingly ordinary man who wakes one morning to find himself arrested. No one tells him what he has done wrong. No one offers him clarity, and yet he is judged. He spends his days wandering through a bizarre bureaucracy, searching for a reason, for an answer, but none ever comes. Kafka's world is not just surreal. It is a metaphor for modern life. We are all, in some way like Joseph K., judged, measured, evaluated, yet unaware of the criteria. Kafka forces us to confront a terrifying idea. Perhaps the universe is indifferent. Perhaps there is no answer because there was never a question to begin with. But nihilism isn't only found in books or old philosophers' notebooks. It creeps into everyday life. When someone says, "nothing really matters," or "everything is fake," they may not know it, but they are expressing a nihilistic view of the world. Beneath these words lies a fatigue with meaning, a deep weariness with the weight of life. It is a recognition, sometimes quiet, sometimes loud, that perhaps there is no deeper reason behind our actions, no divine scale weighing right and wrong, no ultimate reward at the end of our suffering. For those who feel this way, life becomes a fog-covered path, stretching infinitely into nothingness, with no signpost, no destination, no guiding light, only footsteps that disappear behind us and uncertainty ahead. This feeling of not knowing, of being lost, grows stronger when we truly confront the mystery of existence. We are born, we live, we desire, we build, we suffer, we love, and then, one day, we vanish. Some say the purpose of life is to be happy. But then, as the Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, Everything flows, nothing stays. You cannot step into the same river twice, because both you and the river have changed. If all is change, then how can any happiness last? And if nothing lasts, what is the point of chasing joy? This question pulls us toward existentialism, the modern child of nihilism. Jean-Paul Sartre, one of its most influential voices, said that existence precedes essence. We are not born with a fixed meaning. We create it ourselves through our choices. In other words, we are free, completely free. And that freedom, while beautiful, is also a burden. If there is no God, no predetermined purpose, then everything depends on us. We are responsible not only for our actions, but for who we become. We are, in essence, our own creators. But with that comes anxiety. Because if we fail, if we become something we despise, there is no one else to blame. This sense of responsibility is overwhelming. Sartre called it nausea, that dizzying realization that the world has no anchor, that we are floating in a sea of possibilities, and every choice defines us. And yet, even this frightening freedom is better than false comfort, because at least it is real. Then there is Friedrich Nietzsche, perhaps the boldest of all thinkers who walked through the valley of nihilism. Nietzsche stared into the abyss and found not despair, but a call to courage. When he declared, "God is dead," he wasn't just making a statement about religion. He was saying that the foundation of Western morality, the belief in universal truths, had crumbled. With God gone, there was no higher law, no cosmic justice, no divine reward. We were free, but also alone. He described this condition as the death of meaning. But instead of weeping, Nietzsche challenged us to become Übermensch, the overman, one who creates his own values, who dances even in the face of death. Albert Camus took this further in his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus, cursed by the gods to roll a boulder up a hill forever, only to watch it roll back down each time, is the perfect image of human life, repetitive, pointless, absurd. But Camus does something extraordinary. He says, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because the moment Sisyphus accepts the absurdity of his task and keeps going anyway, he becomes free. He transforms his punishment into rebellion, his curse into a choice. And that, Camus says, is true heroism, not finding meaning, but creating it in spite of its absence. In our modern world, the pressure of nihilism grows stronger. Technology has connected us but also isolated us. Consumerism promises happiness but delivers only distraction. Social media has turned us into performers, chasing likes, views, and followers, while slowly forgetting who we really are. We live in a time where people know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. And at the end of the day, when the screen goes dark and the room grows quiet, we are left alone with our questions. Why am I here? What does it all mean? Is there anything that lasts? This sense of emptiness leads some toward despair. They lose motivation, fall into depression, or begin to see life as a cruel joke. Others become numb, living as if nothing matters, seeking only pleasure, escaping into entertainment or addiction. But some, just a few, respond differently. They embrace the void, not with fear, but with creativity. They write poetry, make art, fall in love, raise children, build communities, plant trees. even knowing that death will come, that the sun will fade, that nothing will be remembered. They choose to live meaningfully, and that, perhaps, is the most profound rebellion of all. Martin Heidegger, another deep thinker of the 20th century, said that humans are unique because they are aware of their own death. Animals live, but they do not know they will die. Humans do. And this awareness gives life its urgency, its beauty, its depth. Heidegger called it being toward death. It means that our mortality is not a curse but a teacher. It reminds us that time is limited and therefore precious. In Hindu philosophy, death is not the end. It is the doorway to moksha, liberation. In Buddhism, it is the path to nirvana, the release from desire and suffering. Death, then, is not something to fear, but to understand. The ancient sages of India said, Tattvam asi. You are that. You are the eternal truth, the consciousness behind all forms. In this way, Eastern thought merges with the West, where Nietzsche spoke of eternal recurrence, the idea that your life with all its moments will repeat forever. If that were true, how would you live? Would you not treasure each day, each choice, each word? In the quiet of night, a poor shoemaker watching his sleeping daughter might wonder, does my suffering matter? He is not a philosopher in books, but in truth. His struggle, his love, his sacrifice, all are part of a wisdom no academic degree can grant. Philosophy does not live only in ideas, it lives in experience. Nihilism asks difficult questions. Why do we care about justice when everything is relative? Why believe in goodness when it is just a social construct? Why try when everything ends? But these questions are not enemies. They are invitations. They ask us to go deeper, to think harder, to feel more. When a student wonders, why am I studying? What is all this for? He is not just frustrated, he is awakening. He is starting to see that behind the routines of life lies something profound, a mystery we must each face alone. And yet, even in that aloneness, there is beauty. Nihilism strips away illusions. It shows us the bare bones of the world. No false promises, no heavenly rewards, just now, just here, just you. And that is not necessarily bleak. It can be liberating. Because when you realize that nothing outside gives your life meaning, you can finally begin to build it yourself. You can write your own story. You are no longer a puppet of tradition, religion, or society. You are a creator. This is not easy. Most people run from this responsibility. They hide in religion, ideology, or romance. And that is understandable. Life is hard. But those who stand firm, who accept the void and still choose love, still choose art, still choose kindness, these are the truly awakened ones. They do good not because of a reward, but because goodness itself is beautiful. They love not because love will last forever, but because it shines brightly, even if briefly. Nihilism teaches us that life is a blank canvas. You can draw joy, sorrow, color, or silence. You can choose to be a dreamer, a lover, a poet, or a solitary wanderer. This freedom can hurt. It can also heal, because it returns power to where it belongs, inside you. In the end, nihilism is not just a darkness. It is a threshold. It can break you, but it can also rebuild you. It can leave you hollow, or teach you how to fill yourself. Perhaps through this very emptiness, we become the artists of meaning. And perhaps that is the true beauty of being alive.